alaikum. A very good evening to you in this holy month. My name's Amira.
And my name's Abbas. Thank you for joining our show.
The holy month of Ramadan is the month in which the Quran was revealed, and that's why it was so important for us to be familiar with the words of the Quran in this month, to understand why it was a miracle.
The Quran teaches us the rights of Allah towards us, how to have faith in Him, the belief that He is the one and only.
By reading the Quran, we begin to understand Allah better and understand what He expects from us.
Let's begin the episode with the Quran.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون صدق الله العلي العظيم.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm the Hijab Fairy, and today I'm going to introduce another beautiful young girl and her experiences with hijab. Are you ready to watch with me? Let's go.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Safiya Mavani and I am 12 years old. As I was growing up, I was always in an Islamic environment, so becoming baligh and wearing hijab was a really happy moment. Before I was baligh, I wore hijab to the mosque. When I went to Umrah when I was 5 years old, I wore hijab and I loved it. Everyone around me was wearing it and it felt comfortable. I thought about baby Zainab, how her hijab was snatched away from her, and baby Sakina trying her hardest to follow Islam. The time I was thinking about this, my dad was going to Iraq to visit all the shrines. I was thinking to start wearing hijab, and this was a great opportunity. He could leave for Iraq, and by the time he comes back, I had changed into a young lady. This was a great surprise for him, and I enjoy wearing hijab. It has changed my life, and I feel like I truly belong in Islam and part of the community. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I hope you enjoyed watching her video. I'll see you again soon for another hijab story. Lots of love and du'as.
Imam Ali, peace be upon him, was one of the greatest men to ever live. He left behind a beautiful book filled with his sermons.
You can listen to one right now, his Nahj al-Balagha.
My dearest child, have I ever told you about the time when there was a man who lived long before we did? The first man to accept the faith of the Prophet, Ali son of Talib. He was a wise man who entrusted us with his words. We mustn't ever forget about these words. Now, my child, read this sermon out loud for me, will you, dear?
Sure, Grandma. The peacock. The most amazing among them is the peacock in its creation, which Allah has created in the finest harmony and arranged its hues in the best composition, with its wings well tackled together and a long trailing tail.
Oh, that was lovely. That was lovely to hear, my little one. Now let's close this book and keep it in a safe place before we go to sleep.
Where shall I put it?
Put it on that shelf, dear.
The one over here?
Yes, right over there, next to the red book.
Here?
Aha, that's the one.
Assalamu alaikum, kids. How are you? You ready for today's story time? Now, today we're going to talk about the ring inside the stomach of a fish. Now, there was once a lady who always said, Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. I begin in the name of Allah, the kind and the merciful. Before she did anything, she knew that Allah would then always be with her. One day, she put her ring in the cupboard and as usual she said, Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. I begin in the name of Allah, the kind and the merciful. Before she put it away, she knew that it would be safe. Her husband took the ring and threw it in the river. He wanted to prove to her that only saying Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim, I begin in the name of Allah, the kind and the merciful, would not keep it safe. He thought that in the evening he would ask her where the ring was and it would not be there. Later that morning, the lady went to the market and she bought some fish. Now, when she was cleaning the fish at home, she found her ring inside the stomach of the fish. She wondered how it got there and then put it back in its place in the cupboard, saying Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. I begin in the name of Allah, the kind and the merciful. When her husband came back from work, he asked her where the ring was. She brought it from the cupboard and he was so surprised. He told her what he had done and apologized for her, and he was so embarrassed. He also truly believed that Allah is with the person who says Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. I begin in the name of Allah, the kind and the merciful, before he or she does anything. So let's always remember that. Start the day with Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim and Allah is always with you. Will you remember that? I hope you enjoyed today's story. Join me again for another amazing story next time. Thank you.
Early in the morning when the world is asleep, I rise with my family so I can eat and drink. I pray with my family and Mommy says to me, your dua will make our house shine bright. Shine like a star and travel very far. Your dua will make our house shine so bright. In the month of Ramadan, raise your hands and talk to Allah. Shine like a star so bright. Come on, join in. Early in the morning when the world is asleep, I rise with my family so I can eat and drink. I pray with my family and Daddy says to me, your dua will make our house shine bright. Shine like a star and travel very far. Your dua will make our house shine so bright. In the month of Ramadan, raise your hands and talk to Allah. Shine like a star so bright. Shine like a star and travel very far. Your dua will make our house shine so bright. In the month of Ramadan, raise your hands and talk to Allah. Shine like a star so bright. Shine like a star so bright.
شهر الخير والغفران رمضان يا خير الشهور فيك المحبة بلا شرور فيك السنة فيك الضياء رمضان يا خير الشهور.
Al-Iftitah, or the supplication of the opening, is another great way to understand Allah. It reminds us that both faith and action are necessary to become a true believer.
So let's take a look at another verse.
Here's Dua al-Iftitah.
Assalamu alaikum. How wonderful the world is. Mountains, rivers, forests, farmland, lakes and grassland, that all evidence Allah's bounty and grace. How blessed we are to be able to communicate with the magnificent Creator who brought everything into existence and has made it possible for us to survive and benefit from all of His bright and beautiful signs. He facilitated means whereby all of us may draw benefit from the light of guidance that He sent down with the Holy Messenger and his progeny, whom He appointed exemplars and role models for humankind. May Allah Almighty enable us to be included under the supervision of the owner of the time, Imam al-Mahdi, who is always with us, illuminating our way, even though we're not able to see him. Imam al-Mahdi shares his words in the inspiring Dua al-Iftitah that all believers read during the holy month of Ramadan. Let us listen to a part of this dua and find out what it means.
الحمد لله على حلمه بعد علمه والحمد لله على عفوه بعد قدرته والحمد لله على طول أناته في غضبه وهو قادر على ما يريد. الحمد لله خالق الخلق باسط الرزق فالق الإصباح ذي الجلال والإكرام والفضل والإنعام الذي بعد فلا يرى وقرب فشهد النجوى تبارك وتعالى.
In this part of the dua, the words we hear say, all praise be to Allah for His patience, in spite of His being all-knowing. All praise be to Allah for His forgiveness, in spite of His being all-powerful. All praise be to Allah for pardoning us when we commit acts that anger Him. All praise be to Allah, source of all creation, who provides everything that sustains us, who causes dawn to dispel the darkness of night, the one full of majesty, bounty and honor, the one who showers us with His abundance, the one who is beyond our vision, yet is so near that He can hear us whisper. Blessed and honored be He. These beautiful words move my heart as a humble servant of Allah and as an avid follower of Ahl Bayt. Praise be to Allah, under whose protection we all are, today and every day of our lives.
رمضان يا رمضان رمضان يا رمضان رمضان يا رمضان رمضان يا.
We often
often think that people from 1,000 years ago were living in the Dark Ages. But in Muslim civilization from the 7th century onward, there were amazing advances and inventions that still influence our everyday lives. The first manned rocket was said to have been invented by Lagari Hassan Chalabi in 1633.
The little yellow taxi loves to travel every day. The little yellow taxi travels far, far away. But where will the little yellow taxi travel on this day? Let's take a trip with the little yellow taxi. Hooray! The little yellow taxi wants to go to Mecca to see the Kaaba. But before we leave the house to travel, we should recite this dua. Bismillahi amantu billah. وتوكلت على الله ما شاء الله لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. When the little yellow taxi was just a little taxi, his mummy yellow taxi told him all about the holy Kaaba. Once upon a time, there was a holy prophet called Ibrahim. Ibrahim and his son, Prophet Ismail, tried to call people to worship Allah. At that time, there was no place for people to worship Allah, so Allah ordered Prophet Ibrahim to build a shrine where he can be worshipped. Prophet Ibrahim asked Prophet Ismail to look for a stone to put into the last corner. He told him to bring back the best stone. When Prophet Ismail had gone, the angel Jibreel brought Prophet Ibrahim a black stone from paradise. It is said that the stone was originally white. However, the sins of the people had blackened it. When we arrive to a new country, we recite this dua. اللهم إني أسألك خيرها وأعوذ بك من شرها. اللهم حببنا إلى أهلها وحبب صالح أهلها إلينا. When Prophet Ismail returned, he asked his father where the stone was from, then helped his father put it into the building of the Kaaba. The Kaaba today continues to be a place of worship and part of the foundations of Islam. Many Muslims travel to Mecca every year to do Hajj. The little yellow taxi has finally arrived in Mecca. Wow, subhanallah, there are so many people visiting the Kaaba to ask for their prayers to be answered. This is by far one of the best places the little yellow taxi has been to. The little yellow taxi would love to stay here forever, but it's getting late now, and it's time for the little yellow taxi to head back home. But before he returns, he must remember to recite his dua for the journey back. آئبون تائبون إن شاء الله عابدون راكعون ساجدون لربنا حامدون اللهم لك الحمد على حفظك إياي في سفري وحاضري اللهم اجعل أباتي هذه مباركة ميمونة مقرونة بتوبة نصوحة توجب لي بها السعادة يا أرحم الراحمين. Now the little yellow taxi is ready to go home. Goodbye, little yellow taxi. Hoot hoot.
Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, said, the first person to enter paradise will be Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam.
Farewell Pilgrimage, 631 AD. This is called Hajjatul Wada because it was the last Hajj that the Prophet performed during his life. During this Hajj, he demonstrated every feature of the ceremony so that there would be no confusion later.
In the month of worship, we read du'as every day. So here's a daily du'a up in the clouds.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم اجعل لي فيه نصيبا من رحمتك الواسعة واهدني فيه لبراهينك الساطعة وخذ بناصيتي إلى مرضاتك الجامعة بمحبتك يا أمل المشتاقين وصل اللهم على محمد وآله الطاهرين.
Thank you for joining us today. I hope you had fun.
We'll be back again tomorrow for more shows at the same time. Until then, bye.
أنا أحبك يا شهر الخير لأنك أحلى أيامي أحب أزور أحبابي وأخوالي وعمامي أنا أحبك يا شهر الخير لأنك أحلى أيامي أنا أحبك يا شهر